I spend a lot of time at work. Decision fatigue is real, and I'm not responding to my children in the way that's best.
I have friends that actually drains them when they have too many social obligations and it's too much.
Yeah. You know, I told you I write things out at night when I can't sleep. This is what started that.
Now that you're outsourcing, are you doing more or are you relaxing and thinking?
If I don't have to think about where I'm going, that's someone else's job. I just have to focus on doing whatever I'm doing.
You really want to surround yourself with people who understand what you are as a person.
Welcome to the Triple. All right. So we were at dinner the other night and Barrett is making fun of me about my very first big purchase when I was at my first job. I'd been there maybe like a year or two and I needed a new car because I still had my car from college. And I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to get a new car. And Barrett was like, well, what kind of car do you want? And I said, well, not really sure, but I just wanted to have a 6 CD disc changer. And he was like, all cars come with 6 CD disc changers. I'm like, well, not mine because mine's a 1994 Honda Accord that my dad bought me. And that is the one thing I never had. And I really wanted it. And it was a really funny thing to think back about. Like, I didn't care what car it was. It didn't need to be new. It didn't need to be fancy. But this 6 CD disc changer in my head, this aging myself here, but was this thing I had wanted that I had never been allowed to have. And my first car, my parents were divorced. And so they made a deal and said, however much money you save, we will match that. And that's what you get for a car. And so I worked all summer for 2 years leading up to it and, did odd jobs and saved money. And I couldn't afford the car with the 6 CD disc changer. And I had saved a lot of money and I felt like so sad that I didn't have that. And so it's a funny thing to think back, but I felt so accomplished when I bought this used Nissan Murano. It wasn't anything fancy, but it had 6 CDs. And I was like, I am the jam. This is amazing.
How did Barrett grow up to think that every car came? Because definitely they did not. Not the cars I was driving.
I didn't realize. I think it was at that time.
Yeah,
right?
No, at that time.
When was that? Early 2000s?
CDs have a limited lifespan.
That is fair. But don't you remember the books that you used to have in the visors, or your friend would sit in the front and flip
and you had the recorded CD with the mixtape.
Oh, the mixed. It was like the mixtape.
Yeah, I remember making the mixtape, but I don't remember. Didn't you have to go to the trunk for the 6 CD guy?
Yeah, you had it in the trunk, but then
you had to commit.
You had to you had to pick your 6 CDs and then put them in, and that was going to be your mix for that ride.
Yeah,
but I don't remember thinking of it as my big purchase. But now looking back, it was like, oh, that was the first time that I had made a real big adult decision with my own money, where my parents weren't supporting me, and I was 23. And I felt like it was something I could do. And I still was wildly responsible about it at that time, probably less so now, but very responsible about okay, I need a used car. It still has to be at this dollar amount, but this one 6 CD disc changer was going to change my life. I now obviously don't listen to CDs, but it was very, very cool at the time. So I'm wondering if you had a point where you, maybe not even a big purchase, but when did you start to feel like I'm in control of my money and I'm making decisions about how I'm spending this and what I'm doing with it when you got into your first jobs?
I still don't feel like that.
You don't make your own decisions.
I don't
Delegate those.
I don't know, but I do know that what I spent my money on was way less responsible. So I'm a little embarrassed, but I was like, my first big commission check when my first job, I bought myself a Michelle watch. Do you guys remember those? The Michelle watches? They were
not
so
cool.
popular, and they had the diamonds around.
Oh,
them.
yes.
And I still have it because it was it's amazing. And sometimes I even still wear it. But I was like, okay, I can buy myself something really nice. And it really wasn't that expensive. If I go back to it then, it was $1,000 or something. But to me back then, it was literally the coolest thing. And I was so proud of myself that I had bought it myself. But yeah, way less exciting than a car. It didn't get me anywhere. Definitely didn't play
music. But it made you feel good.
It did. It made me feel great.
So I don't really like to buy things. We kind of talked about that. It's a big deal for me to buy even shoes or anything like that. I'm just not, that doesn't excite me very much. But I thought about this And I would have to say it was my condo. And that was because, so it was like 2010, 2011. And so now there's real estate that was on the market at a really good price in West LA. And so I did not have a big savings account or anything like that. And I was like, ooh, you know what though? This is a good investment. So I put together a whole plan for my dad. And I was like, look, I'm going to pay rent. I'm going to get a roommate to also pay rent. We're going to be able to afford this return on your money as well if you put this in. And this is how I think it's going to grow over time. And I think this is totally worth it. This is like the best investment you can do. Plus I could live there. Like, what more could you want?
Your daughter is well taken care of in this condo.
And I was like, he's going to be so proud of me for putting, and I'm sure he was very proud of me for putting together this presentation. But he was like, you know, if I do it for you, I have to do it for you, your brother and your sister. And like in his mind, he meant like that day. Right? Like he has to be fair to us, and which I love that he has to be fair to us. But I was complaining to my friend at work, Anna, about how crazy he was and how stupid he was because this was a great investment and blah, blah, blah. And Anna was like, you know, you have a 401k and it allows you to do a down payment. And if you think this is a great investment, then you do it. And I, was like, well, that's why I have no cash because I put all my money in this 401k. And I was like, you're right. And I was so nervous. This is when I told you I write things out at night when I can't sleep. This is what started that. For weeks, I would just write out the mortgage payment, the rent, everything I think it was going to cost. And yes, I could do it. Yes, I could do it. And so I did it. And that's how I bought my first piece of property.
That's awesome.
So cool.
I love that it was like a random person at work that challenged you to just be like, no, you can do this.
She was my best friend at work, but yeah.
That's true. That is true. And it was great. I think the luxury item actually ended up being later life thing for me is whenever I got a bonus after that, I bought a bag. And and then interestingly, I haven't done that for like the last 5 years because I stopped caring about the bag. And now I'm like, we really need new couches in the den. And so I'm going to put it towards that. Like I've gotten more practical again, but there was a period where it was like, the luxury item because I never bought luxury items. And
which is kind of fun because now you have like these bags that are kind of like life commemorations.
I'm like, oh, I remember that year.
Over time. Yeah, that's really fun.
My Target bags don't do that for me.
Yeah.
But that condo was a good investment.
Yeah, There you go. I spent a lot of time at that condo, so I appreciate it.
You did. And it really helped me in the future. When Dad, it paid off.
You missed out.
You missed out. I know you're listening.
Love that.
Okay, on to the next segment, which is what success actually costs. So I think we're going to talk about money and we're going to talk about a personal cost. And so opening it up here, if anyone wants to go first. Meredith made a lot of notes, so pass it to you.
One of the things that Tiff questioned us in the preparation notes here was a question around what do you refuse to be cheap about now? And we kind of talked about actually what our big expenditures were and how those have changed over time. For me, where I refuse to be cheap is in outsourcing. I believe in outsourcing and I am willing to pay money to outsource things in my life so that I can have time to do the things that I want. So Barrett jokes that we have entirely too many people at our house in and out during the week. But because of that, I am present for dinner, not worrying about whether the bathroom is clean. I am present on the weekend because I'm not mowing the lawn. And I also believe in and love the people that help support my family and value the community system that exists to do this. And so like both of you, I sit in a place of privilege and understand that I can outsource these things. But it is been, as my career has grown, the one thing that I think I refuse to give up. I would give up most everything else. I would go out and stop going out to eat. I'd sadly give up, Botox or facials or whatever other silly things. But giving me my time is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my time around my children.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm very fortunate to be able to have that help at home. And shout out to Lukey and Lena because I couldn't survive without it. And one of my big things is I spend a lot of time at work and I spend a lot of brain power at work and decision fatigue is real. Yeah. And sometimes I come home and I'm not responding to my children in the way that's best. but I have this great person at home who talks through to them, like how to come to decisions and how to deal with these things. So I feel like it's not all on me, and she can help with that as well. And I don't feel like I then cannot do something else. I know she's got it for the days that I don't always 100% have it. And to me, that is worth all the money in the world, because I want them to be these well-rounded individuals. And when I hear people tell me like, oh, your children are so sweet, I'm like, it's not me. Like, but I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I 100% agree and have the same thing and wouldn't give that up. I think the one thing that I have done recently, which is a luxury and but I really like doing it, is kind of on the decision fatigue. You guys know, like, I'm not a great driver. Like, should be just in my little neighborhood. Like, I shouldn't be driving far. It's not a good idea for me or for anyone else. So whenever I have to drive far, like, I get a driver, and not just any driver. When I'm at home, like, I have one person. And basically what I do is I'm like, okay, I have to be here at this time. And he tells me what time, like, and to be outside, and that's all I have to do. And then when I'm in the car, I'm making the most of that. So I am, answering emails, or I'm talking on the phone, or I'm having calls, or I'm doing whatever those things are, because if I'm not driving, then I'm getting something done so that when I get home, I can show up in the best way, because I've taken all of this time off of my hands in the car. And also because navigating traffic sucks. It's the worst thing ever, and it just makes me annoyed. And I don't know all the roads, right? Like, they're very complicated. They don't always work in a grid system. And so if I don't have to think about where I'm going, watch the map, worry about traffic and do all these things, that's someone else's job. I just have to focus on, like, getting work done or doing whatever I'm doing. And so that is something that I definitely have chosen to spend money on more recently, that I wouldn't have done before.
One other thing that came to mind too, that I think all three of us have done and we have a lot of conversations about, is we've prioritized our health. So we are spending money on making sure that we continue to be healthy, and we're seeing the right doctors, and we're getting, the mammograms and the colonoscopies, and we're checking in to ask the right questions to maintain, like, good health, because we realize, like, that's the value of life, right? Like, in order to be around for a long time and to have the energy to do the things we do, we invest in our health. And whether it's, creatine or whatever vitamin we're talking about, or whatever doctor visit we're doing, like, that's become important. And I've seen a shift in my willingness to say, this is part of my self-care program. Like, these are the things that are important to me to ensure that I maintain health. So that's another area I think I've invested in, and probably the two of you too.
Well, when you're healthy, you could do more too.
Right, yeah.
When you wake up and you're ready to go versus when you wake up and you're dragging, like, where you last longer or this and that, like, it's so worth it.
Yeah, it's the base. It is what drives everything else. So, I mean, I think you can only enjoy the time you have if your base is super on it.
Yeah.
Great.
I have a question. At what point did you decide that you needed to and could outsource? Was it before you got the raise or the promotion to be able to afford it so that you can have the time to get the promotion or the raise? Or was it after, because now you're like, I can afford it?
That's a great question.
It is a great question.
I bet on the come all the time. That is my mom's philosophy and has been my whole life. So, which makes my husband insane. But I think that's, like, why you bought the condo, right? You're, like, betting on yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I tend to do that. It's like, I'm close enough where I'm not making irresponsible decisions, but I'm like, no, I can see this. Like, if I could do this, what would that return look like?
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I mean, not the opposite, but, like, I struggled with this for a very long time because for two aspects. One, like, I always want to make sure I have enough, and I'm always worried about a rainy day. But then my other thing is, if I get too used to it, then what's going to happen if I have to go back?
Yeah.
Right. And I struggled with that for a long time, but I really thought about, okay, if I have to go back, I have to go back. And I've done harder things. Yeah. And if this is going to set up more chances for me to bet on the bet on the future, then that is going to pay off. And if it doesn't work, I'll find another way to make that work in the future. But so when you outsource, that other party is then now depending on you. So you do have to take that seriously, because they have a life and they have this and they have that too. So, it's a big decision, But I do wish that I had started it sooner. Being someone who's always afraid of the future, I think it held me back by doing that. So I actually wish that I had done it earlier and done more of it like you.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't the right time for me. I was too worried about it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle because I think part of it's also how you grow up too, like, and what you remember. So like, for example, my parents worked a ton. So there was a lot of outsourcing in our home, right? Like it just was part of life. And that's okay. Like my parents were essentially first generation college and successful people. But I think my husband grew up with, not a lot of outsourcing. And that means that in order to take on help, I think I was kind of riding that line where it was like, we did it, but only in the point where we kind of felt like we were dying a little bit. And we didn't wait until we were dead. We just waited till that point where I was like, yo, like we can't do this anymore. Like I got pregnant with Eliza, my middle kid. And I was just like, I would want to go up after work and just lay in bed because I felt so terrible. And I just said to Mark, I was like, look, we can't. Like I am not capable of supporting us in the way that we need to be supported. And he, is an equal parent, but still, like, there's only so much that you guys can, you can do when you're both working parents. So I think it's somewhere in the middle. But I think that I agree. Like being ahead of it is so helpful because giving yourself some space also to think and really say, hey, like if I had this time, what more could I do? But you only get the space to think about that once you have the space, right? Like it's like this cycle. So, I'm a fan of time.
The interesting thing, I'm going to challenge you on a comment and I do this too. It's like, well, if I had that time, what more could I do? And like my kids get TV on Saturday afternoons, right? So that's their TV time and it gives me 2.5 hours. And 50% of the time, Barrett naps. Like he'll lay on the couch and snuggle them while they watch a movie or whatever, but he naps. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like I am like motoring around the house. I'm doing work. I'm cleaning a closet. I'm doing all these things. And Barrett's like, some of the point of this is to give you time to sit.
Agreed.
To read a book, to relax, to do this, like to not do. And I am constantly challenged by that. I would say some days I'm good at it, but probably most I'm not. And I wonder if you do that, like constantly feel like you have to fill your time. Now that you're outsourcing, are you doing more or are you relaxing and thinking?
I'm very challenged in the not do.
Yeah.
To the point where I drive myself to the I can't do. And then that's a whole problem on its own. But then, but I am always very challenged to just sit and relax. So it's tough for me.
Yeah.
But what I do a lot with that time is I go work out.
Yeah.
And so then I feel energized or this, that. And I am so protective. It drives my husband crazy. I'm so protective of my sleep.
Yeah.
And sometimes that leads to bad habits. Our kids sleep in our bed longer than other kids do. Because I'm like, you won't fall asleep. Guess what? I am. Like, you're not a toddler anymore. So I can sleep while you're just sitting here. And there's pluses and cons to that too. You got to make sure they sleep because they need it. But I protect my sleep every night like no other.
Yeah.
And then I don't rest as much during the day because I've had that good sleep.
Yeah. That's an interesting.
But I do use that time to then work out instead.
Right. Which energizes you, recalibrates you emotionally, like prepares you.
I have a lot of anxiety and working out has done amazing things for my anxiety. And I know that it was hard for me, honestly, to realize that and then to prioritize it because I thought, well, I should be working. I should be doing this other thing. I should be cleaning. There's so many other things to do. But it releases my anxiety in a way that, or stabilizes it in a way that is so much more productive that I have to, like, people could be mad at me. I don't care. I'm doing that.
Right.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I am perfectly content to sit with the girls and watch a movie.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten them into Hallmark.
Oh.
Thank you, Lord.
Oh, fascinating.
And
it's like the young kid's lifetime.
It's amazing.
It is.
It's so amazing. And I am perfectly happy to sit and just snuggle because I think part of it is recharging for me is honestly not talking to anyone because we spend so much time talking all week. And so I'm so happy to sit and do that. But I'm also happy to be like, I'm going to crank out an hour of work and feel really good about it too. Yeah. So I think that, but I think this goes back to, remember when we like kind of cleared our schedules and we were like, well, what do we do now? Part of it is sitting in that so you can figure out what is the best use of your time too, right? Yep. But I completely agree. Like I love a good nap. I often don't take them, but I would love to nap every week. Yeah. Husbands do that a lot. I feel like there's a lot of husband napping. Like Mark just falls asleep on the couch and I'm like, where is this kid?
Yeah, so lots of husband. But it comes back to, we had talked just to us earlier today about my caffeine intake. It's front loaded in the morning and then I have to cut it off so I can sleep at night. There's no nap happening unless I'm sick because I am just so hyped up on caffeine that like it is not going to happen.
That's a separate issue. We can talk about that offline.
That'll be our health episode. How much caffeine does Cathy Kohler need?
More.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about money in this topic, which is what success actually costs. And now let's talk a little bit about the personal costs. So has your job ever impacted your friendships or relationships? And would love to get thoughts on that. Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, I've thought about this my whole life because I'm the type of person, I don't really do group activities. And I'll do a one activity, but I've always had like, I like to go do this and I have a friend here because I think they're a cool person. And then I have a friend here because I think they're a cool person. And then here. And then on like my birthday, I bring all my friends together and they don't even know who each other are. And this started when I was little. So I swam and I had like a big swimming program. And so I started with school friends and then I had swim friends and I spent all my time with my swim friends. And swimmers know it's hard to mix school and swimmer friends. But, when I got in, like, I think my freshman year in high school, I ended up getting a letter. It was magazine cutout letters, like, and it basically told me that I thought I was too cool and that I wasn't cool. They wanted to let me know that. But what it was, I knew who it was. They did the magazines that I wouldn't know, but I knew who it was. My school friends, I did not see them nearly as much as I used to because of the swimming program. And they didn't understand that. And so I'm bringing this back, tying it to ambition. I had all these goals in swimming and nothing was going to stop me. And when I got that letter, I was like, oh, they don't understand what I'm doing here. Like, I don't think I'm too cool. I am putting all of my energy into this thing and I'm going to move it forward and I'm going to do what I do. And I liked them a lot. I just didn't have time anymore. And it made me realize that at a young age that you really want to surround yourself with people who understand what you are as a person. And so I don't think I've ever lost a friend due to my ambition. I just don't think they were the right friend. Yeah. But on the flip side, you can't have yes people with you. And no one's going to be perfect. And I could be laser focused. And I need a good friend who's going to tell me like, hey, you need to scale it back. Like, I live next door to you and I haven't seen you in 2 months. Like, what are you doing? So I want an honest friend and I will acknowledge when I am not being a good friend. They might need to call me on it. But you really need to surround yourself with people who understand what you're trying to do. And then you're not losing friends. They're promoting you and pushing you up because in order for you to achieve what you're trying to do, it might sacrifice your friendship a little bit, but they know you love them.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like the little child Cathy is like,
I know.
Oh my gosh.
She was way more like put together than I am now. We just went down and we're coming back up. We're getting back there.
I think I love what you said about this. And I love this question because I, similar to you, I don't know that I've lost friends over this, but I have found friends that are badass women and they have big jobs and big lives and children and all of these things going on. And we talk about grace all of the time in our friendships. And it's like, hey girl, I haven't seen you in 3 weeks. Just a well check. Are you good? And it's like, yes, drowning, big presentation, traveling to Europe. I'll be back on Thursday. Like, and that's okay because we are saying like, I get what you're going through. I'm going through it too. And we joke that we're all going to be 55 and then be friends again.
Yeah.
It's like this, we have to do just enough between 35 and 55 to maintain those friendships. And then at 55, when all of our kids are gone or 60 or however the hell old I'll be, like, then you get to be with your friends again when you're not running 1,000 miles an hour. But I will say, and we talk about this a lot, like, hosting and having parties is my love language. Like feeding people and bringing people together is my love language. And we did a party. We do a lot of big family parties, and we did one a couple weeks ago where we packed care packages for the unhoused. And so every family, I did a sign up genius, and everybody brought stuff, and then we put the kids at long tables in the yard, and we packed like 300 bags, and it was so cool. And then because I'm me, I had it catered by a smash burger guy, and like I did all because that's how I love people. And my friend was like, thank God for you as our cruise director, because we all want to be in community and want to be in friendship. But sometimes you just need one person in the group that's going to get everybody out of the chat, right? And into the party, because it's a lot easier to just say yes. I mean, I put the Amazon links to the water bottles and the granola bars because I was trying to save time for people. And they can just show up. And then it brings me that joy that I need from my friends. But then I won't see them again for weeks because we're too busy. I'd also say as a parent, sports are amazing because you end up seeing people multiple times a week.
Oh my God. That's all my friends now.
All your friends are your kids' sports friends. But I do spend a lot of time investing in that because it's important to me. But it all boils down to having a friend group that supports you, that has grace for you, and that you have grace for them. And if you have that, like you'll survive all of the chaos of ambition and children and sick parents and all of the things that happen.
Yeah. I 100% agree with all of those things. I don't have a ton of friends, honestly, outside of like work, right? Like, and so I get a lot of my friend fill during the week.
Yeah.
And that's great for me and that works. And I'm happy with that. And I definitely have some friends outside of work. But I think that it's exactly the same. They're all like ambitious women and we all have schedules we're juggling. And then I think they hold me accountable too. They'll be like, where have you been? I haven't seen you or heard from you or whatever. And I'll be like, you're right. I suck. Here, I'm on it, right? Like I'm on it and I'm coming back to reality. I also think one thing that I've done is I have a friend, really good girlfriend, and we plan ahead. Like we'll plan like a massage or whatever, massage and dinner or whatever, but we'll plan that ahead so that we can like quarterly, right? Or whatever. And that way we have that time and we know it's blocked. And unfortunately, like when you have jobs like this and you have families and all these things, it almost takes that type of planning to really get ahead for it. Like kind of like what you did with the event. But I think that's the other thing that I've done is say, okay, like, on this date, I've blocked this out and it's set, and that's how I'm gonna show up to this. So
it's the same way you do with like dates with your husband,
sure,
right? Like
totally.
I'm like, do we have time? Can you put it on my calendar? Block time for that, and I will make that happen because we live and breathe by our calendars.
Yeah.
And really like creating space for that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was interesting because you said if you don't see your friends for 3 weeks, and I said 3 months. And honestly, mine was like 6 months to a year. And it comes to energy though, right? Because like that gives you energy to plan those things. And if it doesn't give you energy and there's more distance in there, doesn't mean you can't check in on the person, but you might not be seeing them in person. Some of my best friends I have not seen in a long time, but I know what's going on in their lives, like text messages and such. But so I think you have to just do what's right for you to move yourself forward.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Because I have friends that it's not in my like close circle. But you know, a friend of a friend or listening to it, it's like, no, that actually drains them when they have too many social obligations and it's too much. Yeah. And it's not helpful, but it doesn't mean they don't love you and they don't care about you and they don't want to show up for you when you need them. It's just like, dude, that's not my jam.
Yep.
And that is okay too. But I think to your point, you have to find what it is your energy. And if it's one-on-one relationships, or for me, it's groups and whatever, but making sure that you're just paying attention to it. And then making sure that you're giving grace and choosing friends that give grace.
Yeah. Okay, now for our In the News. Airlines are increasingly investing in ultra-luxury cabins, private suites, premium lounges, curated dining, targeting affluent and business travelers willing to pay significantly more for comfort and exclusivity. While most passengers still fly economy, airlines are focusing revenue growth on the high-end experience. That raises a bigger lifestyle question. what are we really paying for when we upgrade comfort versus time, status, or sanity? And what are you actually willing to pay for? So when I read this, it immediately made me think of this movie, WALL-E. It's a cartoon movie, and it's in the future. And all the humans are on these hovercrafts, and they have a screen in front of their face, and basically their lives are set up so they don't have to lift a finger. But one of them falls off, and they're just left behind because they can't even support their own weight. And I do worry, yes, I like to have things set up so that I could be more efficient. But what's that line? I don't want us to become WALL-E, right? So
no, it's a good question.
What is the line? I believe in a little bit of friction in my life to keep me strong. But at the same time, I am hugely efficient. And so where can we draw that line for the cost and what's worth it? And I was curious to get your guys' thoughts on that.
That's so funny that you tied it back to that movie, but so true.
You know the movie, right?
So
yeah.
true. So I was giving thought to the idea that what was luxury has become mainstream. And so remember when you'd order a package and you'd wait every day for 2 weeks for it to show up? You couldn't track it. It was out in the ether and you're waiting for your new Dahlia's cataloged t-shirt or something. And now it's I need a new book and I will order it on Amazon. And do I want it delivered between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. the next day?
Yes.
Yes, I do. I'd like to read that. But our kids, it's really funny because my kids are well, when is it coming? I'm like, it'll be a few days. They're like, a few days? That idea that there isn't friction is wild to me. But I wonder, using the airline example, airlines used to be very luxurious, right? And then airline travel was fancy, and then airline travel became mainstream. So you kind of lost the luxury because it became mainstream. So I wonder, some of the things that feel fancy, are they always going to feel fancy? And admittedly, on the question of what am I willing to pay for? I did once travel in a lay down flatbed to Europe using points, and I got upgraded, and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Yeah. And I don't know how I'll ever go back. And then I've been back ever since, back in economy, because I'm not paying for lay down flat seats. But it would be about the comfort. I don't like the exclusivity vibe of it. I do not like a ladder climber. I do not like someone who's always trying to be better and be fancier. But I'm dang, it was comfortable. It was really nice. Yeah. I get it. But
if
that's
you
not
have,
where
a presentation you're giving and you have to fly international, you're going to land and give it within hours. It's a little bit more than need, for that outcome. And that's different than just I wanted to post it on my Instagram.
Yeah. But I think for me, that's it, right? I'm going for efficiency and I want frictionless travel, right? So let's say that I have to take a red eye, which I am old and it is not too hard. Then I need a lie flat, right?
Yeah.
I need to lie flat or else I cannot take this red eye because I will not be able to function the next day, hard stop. But I think it's interesting because why do you want to eat a gourmet meal on a flight? Honestly, I just want to get off the flight. Get me off, get me on, get me where I'm going and get me off, right? I don't want to hang out in the thing at the airport, the lounge. I'm barely getting a water when I get there, right? I want to get to the airport, get on the plane and get wherever I'm going. And most of the time, I fly economy all the time. And I think that I won't change that unless there's a specific, again, a red eye or something like that, because I'm just sitting there working. I'm sitting on an aisle, I'm sitting there working and I'm happy as a clam. I put my movie on or whatever. And that works for me. But again, that's my preference. I'm not going to the airport in advance. I don't want to get a drink or anything like that. But I think it all depends on what everyone what's their jam.
And I think we were talking about our focus right now, and especially if we're traveling for work, is how can we pack that travel to be as efficient as possible in as least amount of days as possible so we can come back and be with our families or just keep doing whatever it is that you're doing because you have other things you're trying to accomplish. So it might help because you don't have to spend the night in a hotel if you take the red eye. And then if you're taking the red eye to present is different than if you're taking the red eye home, right? So maybe you don't lay flat home, but you do on the way there.
My girlfriend has designed and built a couple of houses, and she talks about scope creep all the time. And she's like, okay, so you just want to have a new kitchen. But then when you decide on your kitchen design and you start doing it and the walls are coming down, you realize, oh, I should probably have new floors. It's going to look weird with my old floors and my new floors. And then as you do the new floors, you're like, oh, these don't look right in the bathroom. And now you've, gutted the bathroom, and it just keeps going, right? And Barrett always talks about that, about lifestyle scope creep. Yeah. And so what we're talking about now is like a lie flat bed, but, maybe 10 years ago, we were buying Michelle watches and, like doing things that felt really big and scary at that time and feel like nothing now. And so I do think there's a bit of luxury that we don't even realize that we're accepting as mainstream in our own lives because it just incrementally changes. I didn't win the lottery where I can now go fly private jets all the time. I just incrementally worked my ass off and made more money and structured my life such that I can enjoy some of these additional luxuries.
And technology advances make them more affordable and such. But I mean, I remember when I was in my mid-20s, we'd go to Hawaii as a family. And I wanted to spend as much time at the beach as possible. So on my last day, I would take a red eye on the way home and I'd go to work the next day. And I was fine too.
Right.
So as you also get older, you don't have the energy to do some of those things. You have higher expectations on you because I was in just a different role then and I could easily do it off of a little bit of sleep.
Yeah. But I would argue like today, I don't really care about a Michelle watch.
Right.
Today I care if I, am saving time at the airport or whatever, right? Not to say that like I'm more luxuriously flying or whatever, but I think that like my preference has changed on what I spend my money on, right? Like I don't care about the Michelle watch. However, I will say that we're going to Ireland, and as a family with 3 children on a very long flight, it's like 10 hours. And I convinced Mark to do like not lie flats, but like the 90-degree or whatever, because I'm like, we're going to take a red eye with these kids and they're going to be horrific. Yes. And so I'm curious to see how that works out, because to me, again, trying to generate less drama, I'm like, if these kids will sleep because the chair goes back 25 more degrees, like I am willing to pay anything for that, to be honest. Like I am willing to pay anything. To not have a fight on the plane is going to be...
Yeah, your motivator is different, but your scope still changed. Like you had the scope creep, but it's not for the same reasons that, someone else has the scope creep. They want to be fancier, post it online or whatever. And you're just like, I don't give a shit about that. I just want my kids to sleep so they're not screaming at me at 7 a.m. when I land in Ireland. Like I have a very different motivation, but we're going to get there the same way.
When Avery goes under the seat and refuses to get out and just screams, that'll be like really fun.
And I'm like, we're driving to Palm Springs because we're not going to Ireland. We're not touching a flight.
You still have a very tiny human.
No, I know, but also Sid's like, please come see me in Vermont. And I was like, yeah, sure, when they're older. Like, we're not getting on a flight with them right now.
But you actually, it's interesting, like looking back though, traveling with other people with really tiny babies, and you're like, oh, I got it down. Like looking at people that can't figure it out because they have tiny infants. And even though you don't feel like that, you're actually crushing travel.
It's fine. I just try not to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, they don't even know what Ireland is. And let's keep it that way. They want to go to Hawaii. And I'm like, but isn't Palm Springs just the same?
Remember, I have a Cathy, and there are tacks all over the world in her room. And so we're going to Ireland, people.
Yeah. Oh, no, we're getting to that, like deciding where they want to go. They voted. There was a PowerPoint. They turned into a Blair over the summer vacation.
Yeah. We had a ChatGPT presentation. Oh, yeah.
Ours will all be about what sports teams and like going to the different arenas. And luckily, LA has a lot of that. Okay, fine. We'll drive to San Diego.
That actually is really fun. My kids got really into MLB ballparks, and that is a really fun vacation. Speaking of, let's talk about, I'm going to backwards this one on luxury, but we had planned to go to Europe last summer, and my dad had a stroke in late April. And we talked a lot about, as a family, we needed to spend some more time with my dad. Thankfully, he's okay, but it was like really top of mind that we needed to go back there. So instead of going to Europe, we went to Indiana. And those are very different places. Mm-hmm. And what we did was we extended this trip and we went to Indiana, and then we drove from Indiana, stopped in West Virginia at a water park, and then went to Virginia, where Barrett and I used to live, and visited our friends. And on paper, it was like we had given up the luxury of the European vacation and the experience of international travel, which is really important to us. But that vacation was like core memory vacation for our kids. It was all Americana, like backyard barbecues with friends, like a symphony out in a field with my mom, like fireworks on the lake with my aunts and uncles. Like there were so many incredible memories that had nothing to do with luxury. And we drove in a car and we told stories and played games. And they actually asked this year when we were planning the summer trip, we commit to the international travel for this trip. But every child said, but we're still going back to Virginia, right? And I was like, I mean, maybe, but it was like, that was so memorable to them that the luxury didn't matter. And it was really cool to watch that through their eyes. And it was even to me like a really, really good trip. Yeah. So you don't have to fly.
Yeah, we
Go to Indiana.
We took the kids to Legoland and they just tantrums all at Legoland. And at the hotel, which wasn't the Legoland hotel, it was a random hotel, they just played in the pool and played in the room with Grandpa and Ellie, their cousin. Yep. And that was the highlight of the trip.
Yep. It wasn't the Legoland. It wasn't what we thought it was.
Yeah.
This goes back to not being able to control your children, where you learn to let go and be like, they are who they are and they're going to do what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Capping the episode with a quick quote. How we spend our days is how we spend our lives by Annie Dillard. And basically, like, I think the little choices really matter, where we put our energy, what we say yes to, what we can relax and not control. All of those things end up really being worth it. So,
Absolutely.
that's a wrap.